The GMTK Game Jam 2025 was another massive event with over 9,000 developers making games in just 4 days. The theme this year, Loop. I decided to team up with my friend Yachikabu, and after tossing around a bunch of ideas, we landed on a puzzle game concept where you can record your movements and create clones that mimic and loop exactly what you did. But here's the twist. You can spawn these clones facing different directions, and they'll follow your recorded movement relative to their own rotation. So I booted up Unreal Engine and started working on the gameplay. First, I wrote a grid-based movement system from scratch, so the player can only move one square at a time. Then I built the recording system. I used Unreal enums to define the movement directions and an array to store every action you take, including delays when you stand still. When you press the clone button, the game spawns a clone that reads through your recorded actions one by one and performs them in a sequence, adjusting for its own rotation. Here's how it works. Every time you make a move, the game stores that move's direction in an array. If you wait, it stores a null action, so the timing matches exactly. When the clone is spawned, it loops through that array, applies its own local rotation to each movement vector, and then moves forward in its own direction. This way, even if a clone starts facing a completely different way, it will still mimic the same actions you performed, just in its own orientation. Once the core gameplay was ready, we moved on to the visuals. We wanted a minimalistic, cute style with bright, vibrant colors that pop. So Yachikabu modeled the main character and the clone. I animated them, then I reused my custom water shader from Hop Wonder to give the levels a really nice animated water effect. By the way, Hop Wonder is my main game project, so if you like my work, you can wishlist it on Steam right now. For the puzzles, Yachikabu sketched ideas on paper, while I kept developing the mechanics. Once the basics were done, I started implementing the first levels based on those designs, and they worked great. We also got GitHub working so we could collaborate in real time. While I worked on new mechanics like pushable boxes, teleporters, and bug fixes, Yachikabu was building more levels in the project. With that workflow, we managed to make about 15 levels plus a bonus stage in just a few days. Of course, making games like this means learning new skills, and that's where today's sponsor, Brilliant, comes in. Brilliant helps you become a better thinker and problem solver with thousands of visual interactive lessons in math, science, programming, data analysis, and AI. Brilliant is a learning app built to be uniquely effective. Each lesson is packed with hands-on problem solving, letting you play with concepts, a method that's been proven to be 6 times more effective than just watching lecture videos. It's perfect for developers and creatives because it teaches you to build understanding from the ground up. And it keeps you motivated with daily challenges, progress tracking, and content created by experts from Stanford, MIT, Caltech, Google, and more. Brilliant's programming courses are an awesome way to build real, timeless problem-solving skills. From learning Python to sharpening your logic and intuition, you'll get hands-on with actual code and start thinking like a real programmer. It's the same kind of thinking I use when building games like this one. To get started with everything Brilliant has to offer for free, visit brilliant.org/wildrod or scan the QR code on screen. Or you can click the link below. You'll also get a 20% off an annual premium subscription. Thanks again to Brilliant for sponsoring the video. By the deadline, the game was done. The general feedback was really positive. People loved the puzzles and the concept. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to optimize the game, which meant some players with weaker systems couldn't run it well. That, and the fact that it was a downloadable game, probably made it less accessible for the jam. Even so, we were somewhat happy with the results. Out of thousands of games, we ranked 247th in audio and 261st in artwork, which I'll gladly take for such a huge jam. Thank you to everyone who played and rated our game, and here's to more jams ahead. Cheers!